Hey guys, what's going on? This is NGS and welcome back to another video. Now it's been a couple of days since the controversial casting that took the world and flipped it upside down 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that is of course the news that Ben Affleck will indeed be portraying the Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight himself, Batman, in the 2015 sequel to Man of Steel. But before all that, as many people would rant and rave by this point in the video, tearing their eyes out, ripping their hair out, I aim to do something a bit more constructive, something a bit more productive, instead of blind fanboying. Instead of talking about the casting, why not do something else and build up to it? Let's talk about all the things surrounding this casting of Ben Affleck. All things that affect the sequel to Man of Steel. And I hope, by the time we get to the announcement talk, we'll all feel better about ourselves. Because, unlike the company that I'll be referring to, we actually established shit. And it had a more meaningful impact by the time we got the final product. Got it? So, let's begin. Since we're talking about Batman and how he's going to be appearing in the Man of Steel sequel, might as well share with y'all my thoughts on Man of Steel. Now, for a movie I talked a lot of good shit about for almost a year, it's pretty ironic that I didn't end up seeing it when it came out. Or the weekend it came out. Or the month it came out. Yeah, it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago that I actually sat down, looked at the calendar and thought, damn, I gotta go see this movie before it gets out of theaters. And I did. I finally saw Man of Steel. I was one of 6 people in the theater at 10 a.m. in the morning. And what did I think about it? I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was actually pretty good. It was definitely the Superman that I was looking forward to. And what I was looking forward to was, of course, the John Byrne Superman reboot that happened back in the 1980s, if I remember correctly. We got the exact Superman that I was looking for. He was a Superman that wasn't so grounded and realistic and dark and gritty that a lot of people were expecting we were going to do since Christopher Nolan was on the project. But at the same time, we didn't get that overpowered God mode up in the sky, doesn't know how to relate to humans Superman that, we've been seeing a lot in the comics as of late. Yeah, thanks, New 52. How in the world a guy is able to bench press planets for a daily exercise routine and yet not be able to escape the coils of a snake is beyond me. But it's DC and everything makes a lot of sense in DC because New 52. But yeah. I also was really, really, really entranced by the actors attached to it. I never thought in my wildest dreams that we'd actually get a genuinely good portrayal of General Zod. Outside that hammy thing we got back in the 70s. I loved Michael Shannon as Zod. I think he was the best actor cast in the entire movie, and he stole the show. Russell Crowe was actually also pretty good as Jor-El. Everybody did a pretty good job of what they were doing. I loved the action that was in the movie. The CGI was fantastic. Outside all those things, that was pretty much why I liked Man of Steel. The actors, the CGI fight sequences, which for anyone who's actually saying we can't get a Dragon Ball Z movie on screen, please go see Man of Steel, and then come back and talk to me. Now onto the things that I didn't like, which I think I'm pretty much in agreement with everybody else in the community. There were a couple of things that held this film back from being the perfect superhero summer blockbuster of all time. And that was primarily on how rough it was around the edges. I mean, a couple of the acting scenes from some of the actors were pretty stale, and some of the writing was just pretty blah. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did a great job with what they were able to do, but this movie just lacked a lot of polish. It just seemed to me that they were just trying to rush this movie out there to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the big blue man in the sky himself. It just seemed to me that a lot of things weren't just right with the movie in terms of the pacing, the writing, and just how things just rush right into each other. A lot of scenes go a lot slower than you would expect them to be, and then a lot of scenes just go fast. You're like, what the heck even happened? Overall, in my opinion, it's a pretty decent movie. In my opinion, it's the best Superman we've ever had in terms of things that showed up on screen. But a lot of things I also am in disagreement with some people in the community. A lot of people were saying that this character was not Superman at all. They saw this guy and they're like, how in the world is this Superman? How dare they call this Superman? Now, I'm not going to go over all of the complaints that I've seen people saying, but there's one in particular that keeps cropping back up, and that is, of course, spoilers if you haven't seen Man of Steel, the final fight with Zod in Metropolis. A lot of people like to say that this film was just so unlike Superman because he destroyed the entirety of Metropolis. Superman would never do that. Yet a lot of people are not looking into the context of the situation. You see, a lot of people assume Zod just came down to Earth to kill Superman. That's not his entire purpose. Zod's whole purpose there was not only to go after Superman, but to destroy what he had come accustomed to. His whole purpose was to kill Superman and also destroy what he had assimilated with. This being Metropolis, the people, planet Earth. Either way, Zod was going to destroy the planet. Either way, it's a no-win scenario for Superman. He either runs away, Zod still destroys Metropolis, or he goes back and fights him, and Metropolis is still destroyed. And don't you come in there saying, oh, he could have lured him away to some remote part of the world and they could just fight there without any consequences. You really think General Zod or any villain in Stop it. Stop it right now. Stop it before you hurt yourselves. So that was one of the things I just did not understand. It's like, it's explained right in the movie. It's right in the movie. And with him killing Zod. Again, no win scenario. It's either he kills Zod, or Zod kills him, and everybody else. So why is that a big deal? And wouldn't you think that that actually provides a really, really good reason for Superman's I will never take a life mentality? I mean, Superman has killed before in the comics. Canon and non-canon. So wouldn't you think this is a good reason for him to not kill anyone anymore? You gotta remember, this is Superman's first week on the job. So of course, there are going to be casualties. And wouldn't you think that he would have to atone for all these in the potential sequel? The sequel that Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer were hyping up for the last couple of weeks since the movie came out. They were genuinely excited over the fact that a lot of people did like the movie, and they were just excited to see what they could do with the sequel. And everything was going swimmingly until Warner Brothers, DC, all of their infinite wisdom, they decided to include Batman in the Man of Steel sequel. Yeah. I know a lot of you are probably wondering, what the heck? Why aren't you just fanboying over this? This is just everyone's dream come true. The two biggest and most popular heroes from DC in one movie together. Oh my god, fanboy erection, fanboy orgasm all over the computer! No. No. You wanna know why I'm not excited? Cause, you know, Marvel did that like last year with the Avengers and it actually was pulled off pretty damn well. With DC is like that one guy who always talks shit about how great he is in basketball. But when you get on the court and you're ready to play, he's always the one who's complaining, oh man, my back hurts. Oh man, my shoes. Oh man, I was wearing the wrong pair of socks. It's that person who likes to talk all that good crap, but when push comes to shove, they a bitch about it. And this is what I'm worried about with DC, because DC, unlike Marvel, at least Marvel's movie division, they're just running shit as it comes through them. They're just making up stuff as it comes along. With Marvel, they went out of their way to actually establish this. Now, regardless of what people think about some of the character portrayals, which of course I have issue with, I did not like Iron Man 3 one bit. I did not like what they did with the Mandarin. Before you people call me a comic book purist, please remember the fact that Marvel said that, oh, we're not going to give you guys the Mandarin that was in the comics because this is a more grounded universe. Yet they go and do Thor and Avengers and Alien Invasions and Thanos. Yeah, because a guy with magical powers is really a stretch. Really. But I did a review on that, so you guys can check it out if you want. regardless of all that stuff, at least their shiz is somewhat consistent. Now, it remains to be seen how the rest of Phase 2 will fare. I'm personally looking forward to Thor and Captain America. But, regardless of all that, they know what they're doing. They have stuff planned. They're building shiz up throughout their movies. And once you actually get to the point where these things get introduced, it has a more meaningful impact. Regardless if it was actually good or bad. That remains to be seen. Zack Snyder and David S. Goyer were planning that with Man of Steel, which is why you saw things dealing with Lex Luthor, Wayne Industries. They were building this established universe, this expanded universe. DC just had to come in and fuck all that up with introducing Batman in this sequel. To some people, this seems like the logical move. This is the best way to grow the universe by introducing this character. What you guys gotta look at, you have to look at the context of things. Superman, in my opinion, is not Superman yet. Remember, that was just his first week on the job. He still has a shit ton of development that he has to come into. That was one of the major complaints for Man of Steel. Everybody else had a lot of development except Superman. So why in the world would they come in here and shoehorn Batman into a movie where Superman still needs to be developed? And it introduces a lot more problems in this case. Because DC introducing Batman, how in the world is Batman going to be in this movie, the supposed older, more experienced Batman that we all wanted in the Christopher Nolan movies? How the hell are they going to explain where he was during the Metropolis destruction? How in the world is he going to explain to Clark that, yeah, I was like asleep during that time with the Kryptonians invasion? Like, oh, shit, man, I didn't know. I was in Princeton or some shit. I don't know. That's one of my major problems, but I'm not going to get into that. Superman needed at least one more movie to flesh out his character. And then, after that was established, you could go ahead and do a Batman movie. And after you do a Batman movie, you can go ahead and do a Batman-Superman movie. What is the problem with doing a Man of Steel movie in 2013, a Man of Steel sequel in 2015, a Batman in 2016, and then a team-up movie in 2017? Is that so hard? It definitely gets the point across that, yeah, we are being consistent. We are trying to draw things out. We're trying to build up momentum because you have a consistent movie from 2015 to 2017. And that's only counting Batman and Superman. That's not counting if they want to do anything else with any of their other heroes on film, which they probably won't. They like to keep with TV and shiz for Green Arrow, and apparently The Flash now is getting a TV series. Now, you see the problem in this case? The fact that they have to develop Superman while introducing Batman, and of course, it is going to take some time to introduce Batman because they are rebooting him. It's not just a case of, oh, we have to go back and do the origin story again. No, because pretty much people know the origin story. You still have to explain how in the world is this Bat character going to be in the movie. All that stuff takes time. So, one of the two are going to suffer. And that doesn't even bring into the question whether or not this is going to be a versus movie or not. Because DC did trademark a lot of Batman versus Superman, Superman versus Batman trademarks for the movie. I don't know what's going to happen in the movie. I'm not going to speculate, but from what it's looking like right now, in terms of that sense, I'm worried. Now let's move on to the casting of Ben Affleck. Now don't get me wrong. Ben Affleck is a pretty good actor. Ben Affleck's a pretty good director. But the reason for why I'm not looking forward to Ben Affleck portraying the Dark Knight himself is because of who Ben Affleck is. And of course, I'm talking about Daredevil. Before y'all bitches say anything, for all you people saying that, oh, you're just saying that because Daredevil sucked. You probably never even watched more than 5 minutes of the movie. Yeah, you're just complaining. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Daredevil, the director's cut. I freaking loved the director's cut of this movie. I thought it was infinitely better than the original. But don't get me wrong. As much as I praise this movie, this film, by normal comic book standards, normal movie standards, it is only decent. Only decent. And by decent, I'm talking 6 out of 10. And one of the biggest problems that plagued Daredevil was Ben Affleck himself. Ben Affleck was, in my opinion, the weakest character in the entire movie. And that's surprising considering he's the lead. For a character who's able to inspire fear so easily, Daredevil is akin to Batman. So he had his chance, and he failed at doing that. Now do you see why we're worried? And before people say that, oh, that was a long time ago, actors all have those bad movies. Ben Affleck tried to play Daredevil as he would Batman if he had gotten the chance. I am not even joking. So if that was his best attempt at playing Batman, there is a reason to be worried. It's just mind-boggling, this whole casting process. It just really seems to me that DC is just rushing things out there simply because they want to get butts in seats. They think that Man of Steel was a financial flop. They think it was a failure. Really, a movie, a reboot grossing $700 million at the box office is a financial failure? A reboot for a character whose last film was pretty mediocre almost a decade ago. And it's a failure. In comparison to all the other movies, you tell me how many superhero movies, solo superhero movies nowadays, outside of Spider-Man, have grossed $700 million at the box office? Just tell me. Tell me, DC. Your competition, what movies they've made have grossed more than $700 million that aren't Spider-Man? The only movies that have grossed more than $700 million for a solo character on Marvel's side was Iron Man 3. And Iron Man 3 only grossed so much because it was directly following the Avengers. DC, you didn't have anything to worry about in this case. What, were you just so freaking had dollar signs in your eyes because of how successful the Dark Knight trilogy was? And for the record, I do not consider those DC movies. Those movies were made with the heart and soul of Christopher Nolan's team. Regardless what anyone thought of Rises, me, myself, and I can't stand the dang movie. That movie is still leaps and bounds better than the majority of modern comic book movies. As fucked up as it is what they did, it still has more quality than anything DC's produced. Man, the movie about the guy who gets his powers from a magical decoder ring in a cereal box. Did I say cereal box? I said space. Starring Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds. This whole process, I get the entire feeling that they literally decided that they wanted to do a Batman Superman movie only after the box office returns of Man of Steel. Because not long ago, they wanted to do a Justice League movie for 2015. With Ben Affleck being one of the potential directors in the running. So that just fizzled out, and they're like, well, damn, we need something else that doesn't take a lot of time as Batman. Zack Snyder has another Superman movie coming out. Yeah, let's just call him up and say, yo, man, can we put Batman in there? Like, we want to break $1 billion this time. Like, he's just like, yeah, you see, and, yeah, awesome. What is Snyder's fixation on the word awesome? I just noticed that. Imagine having a phone call with Zack Snyder. Awesome. Out of all the choices they could have gone with, they went with Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck is indeed a good actor, but what you people need to realize is that certain actors should not be portraying certain comic book characters. There is a time and place for everybody. You wouldn't say that, oh, simply because such and such is a great actor, they should totally play Batman. No. Certain actors exceed in certain roles, and you can judge certain actors based on what they've done before to see how they do in this role. Ben Affleck has not done anything on the caliber of a Bruce Wayne Batman than I can think of, and I've seen the majority of his movies. He's a great actor at what he does, but just not Batman. No. And this is not a case of, well, it's always the most unlikely choice who plays this comic book character. No. This is not a Heath Ledger. This is not an Andrew Garfield. Because the difference between the casting of Heath Ledger and the casting of Ben Affleck is one major factor. How much time was spent in the casting of the Joker. The casting of the Joker was not something simply done in a matter of 3.5 weeks. The casting of the Joker, to my recollection, went on for well over a year. The list of actors that were on the running was far greater in scope and depth, in actor ability, than what we got here with this Batman. More than 3 to 4 choices, for those of you who are unaware. And by the time Heath Ledger was cast as Joker, I saw it as pretty reasonable considering how much time they took casting him. A lot of people complained that, oh, it's because he played this guy in Brokeback Mountain. I don't want my actor who's going to play Joker, a guy who sucked a dick before. Yet they're ignoring the fact that Heath Ledger has done roles that were actually good, and to some respect, you could see him playing the character such as the Joker. Come on, people. Think. It's called perspective. It's called context. Instead of just saying something that, yeah, well, you know, look at Heath Ledger. Look at the situation that actually happened, into the reasoning as to why the casting of the Joker worked out, as opposed to this one, where it's basically just, oh man, we need some star power on there because nobody knew about Henry Cavill, so we gotta get a big name actor. Oh, hey, there's that guy Ben Affleck. That guy Ben Affleck, yeah, you know, he was in the running to play Superman like 10 years ago and something, and he did play Superman in a movie about George Reeves in the old Superman serials. Get him play Batman. Oh Lord, have mercy on my soul. Now you know the reason. 22 minutes in. I am not looking forward to this sequel at all. There were just so many factors going against the movie that I just cannot be any more optimistic, any more pessimistic. Yeah, of course anyone can be more pessimistic about this. But the more I look at it, the more effed up the way this sequel is looking. I think Ben Affleck is a good fit. I definitely think it is. If Ben Affleck had showed his chops in Daredevil that he can play characters similar to Batman, hey, I'd be the first person in line to say, yo, give this motherfucker a chance. Look how good he did with Daredevil. Daredevil and Batman are similar characters to some extent. But the fact that he failed at that, the fact that DC are shoehorning Batman in, the fact that Man of Steel's sequel and David S. Goyer and Zack Snyder's trilogy is just getting effed with, they are not happy. They are not happy one bit. And it's even more mind-boggling the fact that freaking DC now has 100% input in it. So Zack Snyder and Goyer aren't even bigger released than they were before. So it's DC who is going to come up with all the decisions and all this. This isn't a case of Marvel and Whedon fucking shit over with Ant-Man just because. This is a case of, oh God. So the way it's looking for right now, I'm not looking forward to this at all. I seriously am not. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate comments saying, you just wait to judge it, you know, but the point just flies over their heads like all the drones, you know. But hey, what you gonna do? I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm GS signing out. Comment down below on what you thought about the casting of Ben Affleck. Comment down below what you thought on the quality of the brand new blue Yeti microphone from Blue. There we go. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I'm GS signing out. And like always, I will catch you guys later. Peace.